Y'all, I'm about to have a very authentic moment with you right now, and I'm not sure exactly what it's going to turn into, but I'm showing up and I'm hitting the record button and I'm sharing a little bit of my heart as I want to just be authentic, be real as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus Christ. Not as a Christian by title, but actually a lover of Jesus Christ. So, something that's on my heart in this moment, 2020, as I was in the midst of a very broken, toxic marriage, I came across TikTok in January of 2020. My niece had been using it, and I thought, hey, this is kind of interesting. A business guy was huge in marketing and social media, Gary Vaynerchuk, was really highly suggesting that people in business jump on TikTok, start creating content. This was a new platform to really gain a lot of traction in business, build an audience. As it turns out, I started creating a video then just to kind of sample it out for business. But within a month or two, pandemic hit, and then everybody seemingly was on TikTok. And so that window, there's been multiple windows of opportunity, but that window of opportunity early on, everyone was jumping in at the same time I was, based on the advice that I'd gotten. It first started as business, interest, and I'm doing my research and I'm jumping on TikTok, and then it evolved into, hey, this part of me, this creative part of me that used to be in plays and musicals and loved entertaining and just being silly and doing the funny things just for fun's sake, sort of started coming out, and I started doing different characters. But what's interesting, and this is kind of the meat of kind of what I want to share here, is that within that I had pulled out a character that I'd kind of developed really during high school. I was in the musical Grease. We've all heard of Grease, John Travolta and that whole thing. But so yeah, Grease. There's a small side character called Eugene that is kind of the nerdy character in the musical or in the movie. And I'd gotten that role in a community musical. And so somehow, I don't even know when he started, but he was kind of resurrected within my TikTok videos. And in hindsight, at the time, I didn't really realize this, but later on, as I've looked back to that time, I had renamed him. My name is Michael. His name became Michelangelo, and he was kind of became an alter ego. He was the person that took care of the silly parts and the being funny, or just doing the silly things that Michael was not in a good place to do. And I'm speaking in third person now, but me as Michael, I was not comfortable doing as myself. And so the character sort of was able to do, the fun things for me during that time. But it became a huge creative opportunity for me just to have some fun, do some things that were silly during a time that was very difficult. Over time, as I was able to get out of the toxic relationship that I was in and start a healing journey, I was still creating TikToks during that time, and Michelangelo started drifting away more and more. And then I was able to start doing more videos that were just Michael. I was more comfortable basically in my own shoes. I was comfortable just being me. And that's something that has evolved a lot over time, definitely. And it's interesting just, how we all develop different coping mechanisms. We all deal with things in different ways. As I stand here on Halloween 2020, kind of reflecting on a lot of things in the past and looking toward the future, I would just want to encourage anyone who's watching this video to realize that you don't have to hide. At least you don't have to hide forever. One of the best things you can do for yourself is being honest in where you are. And if you're in a difficult situation, identify it as difficult, or identify it as, hey, this is not a place I should stay for very long or much longer, and get yourself out. Reach out to friends, reach out to family, get counseling if you need to get counseling, to work through things. But just know that there's a light at the end of that tunnel for you. Yeah, basically just best you can try to see things for how they are, and know that there's a you deep down inside of you that sometimes gets buried over expectations from other people, expectations from culture or media, whatever it may be. But one of the best places you can be is knowing who you are, and certainly if you're a Christian, knowing whose you are, knowing that you're God's, you're created in the image of God, that you have worth, that you are loved beyond measure, that all the hairs on your head are numbered, that God knows all the hairs on your head, right? Like he cares about you so much, he loves you so much, whether you realize it or not yet. Just know that you are important, you are valuable, and that you are loved. And that with the God of the universe, the one God of the universe, you can get through anything, and there always is hope. There's a future for you, and that you are so important and so needed. Anyways, like I said, not sure where I was going with this video, but I just wanted to, kind of share a little bit of my story, and that as difficult as it may be, as you work through, if you have hurts, trauma, things that need to work through, take the time to work through those, heal from it, be the best version of yourself that you can be. And then not only for you, but then you can help other people. You can be in a place to be healthy, to be whole yourself. Then you can help serve other people. We have the wounds, whether they're physical or not. There are actually mental and spiritual, psychological wounds that sometimes we carry that you can't see. And those are some of the hardest to deal with, because it's, we can't physically show those to other people. But the best thing that we can do is, we feel them, we see them, to deal with those, to heal them, so that when we are trying to help other people, that we're dealing with it in a healthy way, that those wounds, the scarring is very, very minimal, if at all. Just like a physical wound that we might have, if we don't deal with it, the chances of it scarring are much greater. But the sooner we can deal with it, the faster that we are to medicate and to handle that wound, the scarring is less and less likely. And when we're able to serve out of a very well healed wound, as opposed to an open wound, avoiding, it's really hard to be effective to help ourselves or help other people, with an open wound that we're not willing to deal with. So deal with it, quickly, get the help you need, whatever that may be for you. And then you can get to your wholeness, get to the best version of yourself sooner, because you've dealt with the pain. As hard as that is, everything is hard in life if you haven't realized that. It's hard to avoid wounds. It's hard to avoid trauma. It's also hard to heal from wounds. It's hard to heal from trauma in your life. But really, one of the two is still better. As hard as they both are, the sooner you can just say, hey, I want to deal with this pain that I know I've had. I want to heal from it so that I can move on from it and really be the best version of myself and go on in wholeness instead of brokenness. That's where the true strength really lies. It's the better version, at least in my opinion. You can bury it as long as you want. You can bury a wound for 5, 10, 15 plus years. Some people never deal with the wounds that they have in their lives. They choose not to. They choose to avoid it. Maybe they still live in bitterness and anger and frustration day to day that are from old wounds from 10 years ago. That's no way that I want to live, for sure. But that's definitely how a lot of people do live. So I hope for you, as hard as it may seem, if you have those things in your life that need to be dealt with, that you take the time to go ahead and feel the feels, to deal with it, to heal from it so that you can move on even stronger now. And don't wait, don't delay it. Get it done now, move on, and go on and be the amazing you that you are intended to be. I hope this is helpful to somebody that might be watching or listening to this. Just remember that you are loved. There is a God of the universe that really loves you, exists. You just have to draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. Love y'all. See you next time.